Howdy folks, Tricky B here. Today we're going to be installing a teepee fire pit with air inlets. My friend Yogi's had a teepee up at his cabin for a number of years now, and he's gotten by with just a small fire pit lined with river rocks in the center. However, up here in the Rockies at about 10,000 feet, it gets mighty cold and windy in the winter, and so you end up wanting to keep the door to the teepee closed. The problem with that is that if there's snow on the ground, it seals off the bottom of the teepee, and then when you close the door, there's nowhere for the air to come into the teepee as the smoke from the fire rises up out of the top flap. Thus, you end up choking off your chimney effect and the teepee fills up with smoke. We're going to be running some underground pipes to supply air to the fire pit and also installing a pre-made fire pit liner that is designed to channel air to the fire to reduce the overall smoke production. Okay, one of the first things we got to do here is dig out the fire pit in the center. It's got to be a bit bigger than the one we had before.
One of the important things when making a fire pit in a teepee is to make sure you wait until it's snowed and the ground is frozen. That way, it's a lot better exercise and maybe you can save money on your gym membership. Alright, now we're digging trenches for 3-inch pipes. 3-inch PVC, which is going to go down to 2-inch steel for the last 2 feet because we don't want the PVC to melt. And you really can't find 3-inch steel anywhere. Then there's going to be a vent stack over there. There's 3 of them, and the door will be where the 4th one would be if we were doing it symmetrically. There should only be 2. 3 is overkill, but the guy who owns this is using free labor in exchange for, YouTube videos. So he's making it 3. It's a last minute change. I got halfway here before he told me.
Now we've got to dig some drainage holes at the end of the trenches so that any water that gets in drains down rather than running into the fire pit. I've got to mute the audio here because the radio's playing and I don't have a license for that song, so I don't want to get sued. Okay, now my friend Yogi is going to explain the genius of his design for the air intakes.
What you got here is your basic air intake. We got your high wind screen on top for the vent cap, the T for the air intake, and then drainage out the bottom. So if any water comes in from the fire pit, it comes off the bottom.
Why have you got this steel worm gear band here? Given that this is rigid PVC, you wouldn't normally use a pipe clamp on that. What's that for?
We're going to put some screen over the end of that to keep mice from getting into it. So I've got some hardware cloth to cover that.
We're going to cut that and put it over the bottom.
Yep.
Okay, and then this becomes the vertical piece that goes into the hole over here. Done like a beautiful hole there, and then the pipe goes to the firebox. And this is your design then, right?
This is my design. And then
once it goes on my YouTube channel, it becomes my design.
Okay, and it's your design. So the steel pipes go into the coupler onto the PVC, and the last section is steel that goes underneath the fire pit. That way, if there's any heating on it, it won't melt the plastic.
Now, why is this end threaded?
Originally, we were going to thread it directly into the PVC, but I decided instead to use a rubber coupler so that we have a little more flexibility for dealing with any expansion or things like that without breaking the PVC.
For sewer and drain use only, 60 inch-pounds of torque. Oh, I have the torque wrench for that at home. It's in one of my other videos. So I'll go over there. So it's not necessary to do this design to have the threaded pipes anymore. You can just cut the pipe yourself with a hacksaw and
Yep, that would have been fine.
not thread it. All right. Well, let's keep.
All right, we got to pack down the bottom of the fire pit. Again, there's music playing that I don't have a license to, so I'll sing a little too. I'm taking a throughway to heck. A throughway to heck.
Okay, so at this point, we've taken and leveled out the bottom and put a little bit of sand down and loose laid the bricks for the initial set. I'm going to check to make sure that the diameter is big enough to accommodate the fire pit, but so far everything looks really good. We'll have to cut some bricks when we do the next layer to work around the air inlet pipes, and then as we build it up, we're going to do the bottom 2 layers are below ground, and then we'll have another 4 layers above that.
Wonderful. All right, so now we got to find the center of this so that we can put a string on that camp spike and do the old string compass trick.
You're within about a ½ inch of the center, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, I'm good at this. I'm a professional YouTube making thing guy. So we're ready to drive it in then, you think? Or we're going to move it a ½ inch?
Probably. Because we got a little bit of room to move that way. We don't have any room to move this way. So
now we can...
Did you start videoing?
Yeah. Where's the beers? One job you have. One job. I always use a modified cinch knot here because, of course, I'm a hardcore fisherman. Even though in jute line like this, it's fucking impossible to make this knot. Okay. Whoa. I'm going to cut it too long right now. And then we're at another spike. Where'd the other spike go here?
oh, that's it. Yeah, so the fire pit needs 30 inches in diameter to insert, but the majority of it's at 26. So.
Do we want to actually be a circle?
Yeah, we want to.
Okay, so driving a stake in the middle, tying a rope on it, using that as a compass. Now we've got a perfect circle, which I think is a band.
Where's that?
And it's level?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Well, I leveled it before.
You sure that that's a straight line?
It's,
Did you run that through a planer?
yeah, it's through Steve's bandsaw.
Okay, that's nice. Now we've laid the second layer down. We got to cut some bricks. One thing we had to do here, let's see, these are retaining wall bricks, blocks, so they have a lip on them, so they interlock, but that means that each layer is slightly in from the previous. We don't want that. So you just take a mason's hammer and you whack it here, and that comes right off. Mason's hammer is like a regular hammer, but with a blade on the back. Now we got to cut a few of these to fit the pipe. All right. Now we've got to make the cuts. I've marked them with the mason's hammer just by tapping where I got to cut on the line. I'm using a 4.5 inch angle grinder with a diamond masonry cutting blade on it. It's a nice blade. It's about $20 for this blade. I've never used it before, but Yogi tells me it's great. This kicks up a lot of dust. So I'm using this. Let's see how it goes. All right, those fit nicely. We used the two little extra pieces there. Now we're going to take these out. Use a little construction adhesive, which probably won't work because we've got everything covered in sand and it's only 30 degrees. But, you know, we're going to do it anyway because it's an important step. So that those of you watching and doing this at some sane time in the summer will be able to do that. Get the snow off of that.
All right, now that we've got the bricks laid up to the level of the pipes, it's time to put the pipes in the ground and finish all that up.
A little gravel in the bottom of this for drainage, similar to a French drain, only much smaller, and it will never surrender. So we're backfilling the pipe area now. We're going to fill in around the edge. Because once we get to about ground level, we have a carpet rolled up there. There's an indoor-outdoor carpet we keep in here to make it nice and warm, I guess. I've never been in here myself. But we got to roll it back down. Now this fire pit's a different size than the one that was here before. So we got to roll it over and cut the hole to the right size before we build this all up. Because if we build it all up and then cut the carpet, we won't be able to get the carpet over the top. And honestly, none of us is going to be able to lift that thing. So we're just shoveling it back in and using a tamper. An 8x8 tamper. Don't want to hit too hard because there's just PVC down there, but PVC is pretty strong. Iron pipe side is going to be fine. Okay, now we're filling the center of the fire ring with just a couple bags of river rock. Filling is perhaps too strong a term. Putting a layer of is more accurate. And the reason for this is really drainage, right?
Yep.
Water's going to get in there. We don't want it to just make a big pile of mud. So, again, the French drain concept, largely making a French drain underneath this thing.
Now let's take a look at the really fancy prefab fire pit liner that we've got here.
Okay, so this is the fire pit insert made by Zentro. It's one of their smokeless line of fire pits, so it brings in air from the sides and bottom. Comes with a nice lid.
Oh, we got a can of touch-up paint in there too. That's nice.
And it's got a little accessory bar that you can put a grate, a kettle, hook, all sorts of things.
Oh, we got a little cover for that too. So
Yeah, nice.
that's
So
nice.
if you look here inside, you can see the air vents that come in the bottom, so that's what injects air in the bottom. And then if you feel along the inside rim, there's a set of additional air holes, and that injects air into the flame as it goes out, and it's supposed to reduce the total amount of smoke produced by it, which we think will help inside the teepee.
All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of bricks in there. They're all glued in, but I don't know whether the glue will actually hold because of the temperature. We may have to glue it again in the spring. We're ready to drop the insert in. You can see, we saw before this accessory tube. It sticks down the side here, and that's what's going to go into this slot we've left here. We cut some bricks yesterday for that. Didn't get video of that, but that's okay, you'll live. All right, time for the test fitting. Okay, sometimes a test fitting turns into a final fitting.
That's pretty damn
Looks
good.
pretty good. Little gap right here. Maybe you can scooch that down.
Well, we ended up recutting that one brick at the top there to make it a little thicker to cover up that gap because got to cut a little too thin. Here's a picture of the final version. Unfortunately, we were not able to try it out. A big snowstorm was hitting and we had to get back down the mountain before we got stranded. I will update this once we try it out and see how it works. Thanks for watching.